Seafood Lawrence Hill. Welcome to Systems Within Systems blog. Anyway, I said I was going to tell some stories. This is one that really kind of goes with the green, yellow, and red. I like to emphasize on that a little bit more and give you guys some situations that could be avoided and situations, well, they could all be avoided. So the first story is not really about me. It's about a person who came to me after the fact. And I thought it'd be good to share with everyone how green and yellow and red in practice comes important. It's very important that people don't become paranoid and that they become just more aware of their environment, especially at the college or at home or wherever you're going to be. This one person was about this young woman that came to me, a very petite and very nice, sweet person. And she lived in a, they did pretty well. They lived in a nice upscale area. And she came home, and as she was going into the house, which is green, it's green. There was a lot of bushes and stuff around the house. There was a man that was a predator waiting for her, knew her times and everything else. This is a true story. And when she opened up her door, he was standing behind her, and he hit her over the head with a bat and cracked her head open and pushed her inside. He then, I'm quickening it up a little bit for you, he then proceeded to rape her for like 24 hours. And then he wasn't done yet. He dragged her out. How that went down, I don't know, and put her in his trunk and drove back to his place and raped her for another 24 hours. So what the interesting part of the story is one, how green, it was all green, but how I talked earlier about feeling uncomfortable about going in your house or whatever. You always want to practice yellow. It's good to practice. If she would have practiced it, she would have been aware of what was going on, would have seen the person behind the bushes because she was practicing and became aware of yellow zone. But here she felt completely safe, right? And especially in this nice area, this community, where everything was cool, but it wasn't cool. And the guy was good at what he did. He was a professional and an angry human being. So that's a little bit difference in that area. There's where somebody didn't know, they didn't know him, but he knew her, right? So it turned from yellow, right, to red, right? From green to yellow to red, very, very quickly, right? Then the interesting part of this story I thought is worth mentioning. She survived it. The man took her home to kill her. She used in her I guess, her personality to get to know the man. And instead of fighting the rape, she gave into the rape, which is an amazing story, an amazing thing. She gave into the rape and talked him and said that she cared about him, this, that, and the other thing. And he ended up not killing her. And he killed people before, the same way. He felt guilty about it, and he drove her home and dropped her off, and of course, he ended up getting arrested. Another quick story was about this one woman who had no skills or anything, but worked in a hospital, and felt strange. This is in a hospital, right in the big hospital where people are going and doing. She saw this big man standing there, and she just felt odd about him. So she particularly waited to not get on the elevator, even with all the crowded people. She was in a hospital in a special care unit, and just didn't feel comfortable. But she still didn't feel comfortable, so she took a pen. No training. This is just put the pen in her, shirt pocket, and when she thought she was good and she didn't see the guy anymore, she gets on the elevator, and she was just a little teeny Filipino woman, and the guy just reached in, grabbed the elevator door, pushed it open, stepped in the elevator, and then attacked her. As he went up, he hit the button and attacked her. But she was ready for it, right? It's a funny story. And then, she grabbed the pen as the guy grabbed her, and he was huge man. And she just took the pen and just started poking him behind him in his face, and I think ended up, smashing through his eye or whatever it may be. Got the elevator started, opened up the door, there's blood all over his shirt, and as the story goes, there were people, oh my God, what happened? You're okay. She goes, it's not me, it's not my blood, it's the guy that tried to rape me on the elevator. Another story concerning me, I was with a couple of friends of mine, he was out with his wife, I was with my girl, we were walking, and there was this fight that broke out in the city. And he trained very much with me. He was very good, very talented, very tough guy. And just walking, this argument was happening, and I stopped and I walked around it, while he just walked right through it with his wife at the time. And I said, "What are you doing?" He says, "Well, I couldn't handle those guys." I said, "Well, you have no idea what's happening. Right as you walk by there, the guy could have pulled out a gun because they were arguing over a basketball game and shot the other guy, and you could have been in the cross line of fire. Plus, you took another person that doesn't really know how to defend themselves and whatnot and put them in a dangerous situation. Not only yourself, but then why would you do that? Just because you have skill sets and you're a tough guy doesn't mean that you go in for a yellow zone, which could completely turn to red zone. So these zones are really important to practice and become aware of. And, my skill sets and whatnot could have easily handled that situation, but why would I want to, right? Why would I put myself or somebody I'm with in that danger zone? So be aware of your green zones, your yellow zones, and your red zones. They're good stories, but they're also a form of just practicing, guys. You're just not paranoid. You can't go, what's that? The creepy thing is coming at me. Nothing like that. Well, maybe something like that. Who knows what you guys are up to. But the whole thing is that not paranoid, aware, practice, right? And as we get further with the lessons and stuff, we'll talk about how much information is coming in, viewing your subconscious. It's not just about combat and for life and death situations as well. It's how to deal with that combat externally and the combat that you have to deal with internally by discovering more of your essence, your center, who you are, what you're doing, and all the lessons that are around you to help you get through it, all right? All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. And remember, twist the wisdom.